Hi, after a day on the airplane, this is my second live stream on the same topic. So welcome. I have flown from Atlanta, Georgia to Phoenix, Arizona, and now I arrived in Kona, Hawaii. So very happy to give you the continuation of the live stream that I did on readiness and willingness, which is a very important topic. So I gave you a 30-day challenge for 30 days to do the described exercise for being ready, and to do in the same 30 days the described exercise in the other video. So look after it if you haven't seen it yet, on how to train your willingness. Now I give you 2 additional tips, but before that let me tell you an affirmation that you can use. And the affirmation is very simple. It's an I am sentence. And you know that I am sentences create identification. That means whatever I speak about saying I am, that becomes a reality for me, for my subconsciousness. Especially if I repeat it 3 times, my subconsciousness takes it on as a reality. So for example, if I say I'm a genius, I'm a genius, I'm a genius, then that's a very positive message, and it opens up parts of my consciousness that may help me to really be a genius. And I am, of course, sometimes, as are you. However, if I would say 3 times and I don't say it, I'm an idiot, and I say it only once, I know it works, then that wouldn't be such a good programming for my subconsciousness. So be aware of the power of I am sentences, because they show your self-identification. And here, in terms of readiness and willingness, we say 3 times, I am ready, I am ready, I am ready. And then 3 times, I am willing, I am willing, I am willing. You can combine it with a gesture that you have anchored. I sometimes use just snipping my fingers, like I am ready, I am ready, I am ready. And it's enough to do it once, the snipping. I am willing, I am willing, I am willing. Or you do any gesture that you want, because if you anchor it physically, the signal to the subconsciousness becomes even stronger. So when you do this 30-day readiness and willingness challenge, use this affirmation 3 times, I am ready, 3 times, I am willing. And that's to have your subconsciousness on your side. The other thing is your superconsciousness, your higher consciousness, your connection to source. How can you get the divine consciousness, the higher consciousness, the source into play? That is by repeating it 7 times. You may have wondered why holy traditions often use 3 times repetitions or 7 times repetition. For the very simple reason, by repeating something 3 times, we program our subconsciousness. By repeating something 7 times, we are programming our access to the higher consciousness. So you can say 7 times, I am ready, I am ready, I am ready. And 7 times, I am willing, 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 I am willing. And then you even get some blessing from above if you do this 7 times repetition. You can choose to believe me, you can choose to not believe me. If you try it out, you will find how it works, and that's all I'm suggesting to you. Do the 30-day challenge to be more ready in every moment and more willing, and that will help you tremendously. Now to my additional tips on that topic about readiness. Preparation is king. Planning is king. Preparation is key. And I have a sad story to tell you today. In fact, on Phoenix Airport, I obviously lost my notes. And it was like that thick papers that I have collected over the years. There were minimum 50 or 70 ideas on it, written down, like 2 or 3 or sometimes even 1 on the whole page. And I left it there. And it's amazing, because I was always planning to put it on my iPhone. That's how I take notes nowadays, because the iPhone, I never put it aside. And I put it in the note function. and then I have it always ready. And you know what happens? I thought, okay, I give you the second live stream to continue that theme on readiness and willingness, and that preparation helps you to be more ready. And then I procrastinated myself too long to put these handwritten notes that I have collected over years in my iPhone. That's why I was carrying them with me, because I intended to put it in the iPhone on this flight. And then I left it. And you know that feeling of loss, you know that feeling of emptiness. That was a strong lesson for me. So sometimes you wait too long to prepare, and then chance is over. In my case, I give you this live stream to teach you about being prepared, and then I myself messed it up being prepared. I carried it for too long, and then I left it. So what was that? What sign, what synchronicity, what lesson did I get there? Am I accepting it? Yes, of course. It's painful enough. Don't want it to happen again. So also, of course, it coincides with the chance to give you this actual report on what happened to me just like 6 hours ago. Now I'm back in Hawaii. And another thing, and that is Benjamin Franklin. He said, who fails to plan plans to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So this is a very, very important thing. When should you plan? Immediately. For example, I use this note function, taking notes in my smartphone immediately. That's also the thing that I had when, as long as I took the notes on a pad of paper, and then sometimes I didn't have paper, or sometimes I didn't have a pen ready. You know, the smartphone I have always with me. And then when I waited for 5 or 10 minutes and I said, okay, I take the note down 5 minutes or 10 minutes from now, and then I forgot it. So whenever you have a great idea, whenever you have something that you should do, that's the reason why it comes to your mind. Either the higher consciousness or your subconsciousness is telling you to do something. And if you have that feeling, ooh, it's exciting, ooh, I want to do that, and then you don't write it down quickly enough, it may be gone. You may not find it again. So this is something that probably happened to you as well, like to me. So for that, the smartphones are a real blessing. Always take down ideas, take down inspirations, take down concepts that come to your mind. Sometimes we see something during the day that inspires us. We understand a principle, immediately write it down. And of course, you and I know the power of handwriting. So afterwards, you can still put it down on handwriting from your iPhone or your Android, but your smartphone you will have most of the time ready, as do most people nowadays. And so that's the excellent planning tool. Of course, there's even apps nowadays for productivity, and you can use such an app as well. I use the simple notebook function. It's enough for me. So that is about being prepared, planning, because if you are failing to plan, you're planning to fail. Benjamin Franklin. Now, the second tip, and that is about willingness now, and unwillingness rather. I have that great t-shirt, and I planned, by the way, to have this t-shirt on today, because I knew already in the morning when I was checking out of the hotel in Atlanta that I would be speaking about making excuses. And this is from the No Excuses Summit. It's a network marketing, internet marketing summit that happens in Las Vegas every year. And I love the t-shirt. I've been there several times, and I just love the motto, no excuses. Because who are you fooling? Who are you kidding when you're making excuses? And how does it feel? You have, well, good reasons. I don't feel like it. Not the right time. I'm not prepared enough. Well, remember what I said about being prepared. Prepare in time, and then you're ready. And then it's easier to be willing as well. Of course, we are unwilling when we feel we're not prepared enough. So whole thing starts with preparation, then readiness, and then willingness. Now I tell you a very personal story. This is the second personal story today in this live stream. And that is when I was in New York, and a friend asked me to move his garden furniture, and actually it was not like these lightweight garden chairs, it was heavy, you know, with heavy stone foundation to carry it over winter into the attic. So crazy, I mean really heavy stuff. And I figured it takes at least an hour and I will be dead afterwards. So I found an excuse. I said, oh, sorry, I would help you, but I cannot because I have to go to Manhattan to buy something. And in fact, that was a lie, because I just didn't want to do it. I was not willing, I was unwilling. And I had the excuse, and he accepted it, he understood it, because, you know, as an Austrian, I'm not always in New York, he lives there all the time, so for him it's easy to go to Manhattan. And in fact, I could have gone the next day as well. Would have been a little tighter with my flying back to Europe, but he understood. But I carried that pain of that excuse that I made, which was in fact a lie. I mean, if I would have been willing, I could have helped him. It would have taken an hour or an hour and a half maybe, and then still gone to Manhattan. And then it would have been over with. And I would have been happy, maybe I would have sore muscles, but it would have been done. And like this, I was carrying it with me in the subway to Manhattan, in Manhattan, on the way back to Queens. When I saw my friend again in the evening, I still had that nagging feeling, oh, I didn't do it. I had an excuse. And so this is something that I wanted to add to the theme of willingness. Sometimes it really hurts you more to excuse yourself than if you would have done it already. You would feel much better. It's better for your self-confidence. It's better for your sincerity, because excuse is often not even sincere. At least it was in my case. That's why I'm telling you the story. And for me, it was a life changer, because that never happened to me again. Not that people asked me to help, but that I was unwilling. From then on, I said, well, rather than carrying it all the way into bed, I was even thinking of it in the evening while falling asleep. I said, in the future, I'll always do it when someone asks me. So this is the addition to the theme of willingness. No excuses. Excuses don't really help you. Okay, so I hope you got some benefit from these thoughts and these tips. And this goes together with the other video, 12A. So this is now video 12B, live stream 12B. And you find the whole series of live streams on my Facebook personal page. And it's called Enjoy, Progress, Success, and Happiness. Enjoy, Progress, Success, and Happiness. And this is number 12B, so you can watch them all in a sequence. In fact, they are not in the perfect sequence. I will order them later, and they will be used still in another way. So you are lucky to have access now already to this series of videos. See you next time, and be prepared, be ready, be willing. Aloha.